The Constitution allows for many things, but what it does not allow is the most revealing. The so-called founders did not allow for economic freedom. While political freedom is supposedly a cornerstone of the document, the distribution of wealth is not even mentioned.
Of course not.
What?
The democracy will cease to exist when you take away from those who are willing to work and give to those who would not.
I'm not optimistic about bringing about major redistributive change through the courts. You know, the institution just isn't structured that way.
Agriculture, manufacturers, commerce, and navigation, the four pillars of our prosperity, are then most thriving when left most free to individual enterprise.
We find unity in our incredible diversity, drawing on the promise enshrined in our Constitution, the notion that we are all created equal.
No, sorry, that's not in the Constitution.
I am a constitutional scholar, I should know.
Yes, you should. But you don't. That is in the Declaration of Independence.
Are you sure about that?
I'm fairly sure. I wrote it.
Where was I? Oh yes. But the Supreme Court never ventured into the issues of redistribution of wealth, and of more basic issues such as political and economic justice in society. To that extent, as radical as I think people try to characterize the Warren Court, it wasn't that radical. It didn't break free from the essential constraints that were placed by the Founding Fathers in the Constitution, at least as it's been interpreted, and Warren Court interpreted in the same way, that generally the Constitution is a charter of negative liberties.
Nonsense. It is intended to limit the power of government from interfering with the rights of individuals.
While many believed that the new Constitution gave them liberty, it instead fitted them with the shackles of hypocrisy.
A wise and frugal government, which shall leave men free to regulate their own pursuits of industry and improvement, and shall not take from the mouth of labor the bread it has earned, this is the sum of good government.
I believe in returning the nation's wealth to its rightful owners.
Every man wishes to pursue his occupation and to enjoy the fruits of his labors and the produce of his property in peace and safety, and with the least possible expense. When these things are accomplished, all the objects for which government ought to be established are answered.
But in the words of the first Republican president, Abraham Lincoln, I also believe that government should do for the people what they cannot do better for themselves.
No. What President Lincoln said was, the legitimate object of government is to do for a community of people whatever they need to have done, but cannot do at all, or cannot so well do for themselves in their separate and individual capacities. In all that the people can individually do as well for themselves, government ought not to interfere.
That is,
I think we have more machinery of government than is necessary. Too many parasites living on the labor of the industrious.